Okay, this episode is titled Robin's Reckoning Part 2. It came out on February 14th, 1993. It was directed by Dick Sebast, written by Randy Rogel, and animation by Dong Yang, with layouts by Spectrum. Featuring Kevin Conroy as Batman Bruce Wayne, Bob Hastings as Commissioner Gordon, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred, Lauren Lester as Robin and Dick Grayson, Rebecca Gilchrist as Chi-Chi, Linda Gary as Bertie, Charles Howerton as Lenny, Joey Simrin as 9-year-old Dick Grayson, Lionel Mark Smith as the bus driver, and Tom Wilson as Tony Zucco. So some honorable mentions here. Dong Yang animated this episode, and they previously animated the episodes that we reviewed, which were Joker's Favor, Nothing to Fear, Appointment in Crime Alley, Eternal Youth, See No Evil, Two-Face Part 2, I've Got Batman in My Basement, The Forgotten, The Cape and Cowl Conspiracy, and Perchance to Dream.
Nice.
Spectrum is credited for doing the layouts of this episode, and they animated Part 1. So they didn't actually animate Part 2. Dong Yang did, but Spectrum provided some layouts. Did you notice a difference in animation in this?
Yeah, it didn't have that anime quality to it, but it had the Batman the Animated Series quality to it, that's for sure.
It did. I definitely noticed a change in the animation. There just wasn't enough richness and depth like Part 1 to Part 2 had. Like, it was very much, yeah, as you said, Batman the Animated Series feel, but that anime feel that we got in Part 1, I was like, oh man, I miss it already watching Part 2, you know?
Didn't realize how, like, you could even elevate Bruce Timm's look into something even cooler, but there were still anime elements to this. I mean, the shot where Robin stops on his motorcycle is just straight Akira, like 100% Akira.
Yep, that's in my fun facts, yeah.
And I fucking love Batman's costume. It's so cool. When Batman shows up in the flashbacks and like he's like super black. You know what I mean? His cape, like the other cape has like that little blue sheen to it, which I love. But like this Batman is like, he's pure black and he's got the pure black logo, and I think he looks the business. I really do.
He does, yeah. The only blue you have in that costume is just the behind the cape, like the back side of the cape, or the inside of the cape, should I say. I think he looks the best in this too. I love that costume. I wish that was the costume we got in a way. I mean, I love all of the costume interpretations in this show, especially as we go on and we'll see in the New Adventures or Batman Beyond. But this one, there's something really special about that. Like, it's just, as we said last time, it's so year one, isn't it?
Oh,
like, it's just got that vibe.
I kind of wish he had purple gloves, but I guess that'd be too far.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. We got director Dick Sebast has been credited previously on this podcast in our Cat and the Claw Part 2 review, so go back and listen to that episode if you want to hear more about his career. We got writer Randy Rogel has credited previously in our Two-Face Part 1 review, as well as being a guest on this podcast, so go back and listen to those episodes if you're interested in hearing more about his career. Then we got acting creds. All returning characters have been credited previously on this podcast for their first appearances, such as Lauren Lester as Robin in Christmas with the Joker, or Kevin Conroy as Batman in On Leather Wings, so go back and listen to those episodes as well if you want to hear more about those voice actors. And then as far as new acting creds go for this episode, we've got Rebecca Gilchrist, who plays Chi-Chi, who will also come back in the DCAU as a one-off character in both the new Batman Adventures and Batman Beyond. She also voiced characters...
She's a recurring character?
No, she voices another one-off character, like Chi-Chi's a one-off. Yeah, so there wasn't names I recognize, but just for the the DCAU fans out there that listen to this show, she'll come back to voice.
I know it's a cartoon, but Chi-Chi's kind of fit. Not gonna lie.
I mean, also, a sex worker is in a kids' cartoon, right? Like that was.
Is that what they were saying? You think?
I think so. What else is he's like? You holding out on me, Chi-Chi? And like, I mean, she wasn't dressed so scantily.
Right. You're absolutely right. I don't know why I didn't put two and two together, but yes, 100% right.
She was definitely she was a sex worker for sure. She's also voiced characters in Pinky and the Brain.
Like, what's sex?
Little dick.
I have a little dick. How much? Takes out like a wad. He's like, my new father gave me this much. Is that enough to try out sex? Whatever that is. Sounds fun.
I can't even care about Tony Zucco anymore. I just want to get down, Chi-Chi. So she's also voiced characters in Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs, Popeye and Son, and James Bond Jr. I was waiting for it. Then Charles Howerton, who plays Lenny, will also come back in the DCAU as one-off characters as well, in the Demon's Quest Part 2 episode, as well as Superman the Animated Series and Justice League. He is also known for his roles in G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, Married with Children, and in the 1980s Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde movie. And finally, Lionel Mark Smith, who plays the bus driver, is also known for playing the detective in Magnolia and Colonel Blaine in Spartan. He passed away in 2008 at the age of 62. All right, now time for some utility belt of fun facts. Robin sliding his motorcycle sideways to stop it at the dock is an homage to the famous maneuver of the titular character in the movie Akira, as you mentioned earlier. I've never even seen Akira, but when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that's just straight the same style of animation and shot and everything, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an iconic piece of just nerd culture, regardless if you've seen it or not. And I've tried to watch Akira a couple times. I struggle to get into it for some reason. I like the look; it's very Blade Runner and stuff, and I know it's iconic. Maybe it's something I need to read over watching the animation. Yeah, I've tried, and I just keep being like, are we gonna get to something here? What's going on?
I know. I've been like that with some things, like the movie Dune. I was like, okay, like everybody loves Dune or Dune. Here we go, and then I was like, I don't get it. I'm sorry. I want to like it.
They should have released Dune in June and confused the shit out of Brits. Like, I'm going to see June. When's it out? June. Yes, when is it out? June 18th. Huh?
When Batman first ties the wooden beam to his leg, it extends up past his knee. Later on, in the merry-go-round, it stops below his knee, which will make it useless as a brace. What did you think of the whole Batman being injured in this, by the way?
Tony Zucchini seems to be, like, getting away with loads of stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, I did think that it made sense, I guess, for Batman to be injured in order to then need Robin's help, for one, but also not just easily take down a bunch of, like, low-level thugs, you know, like these guys he could dispose of easily.
I don't like seeing Batman, like, having to make, like, a thing like that, you know? I don't like seeing Batman weak.
Gives you the ick, doesn't it?
Yeah, like, the fact that it's just that he's fucking Tony Zucchini and he just shot the ceiling and you fall through and you're like, I biffed that one. Like, come on, Batman.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, seeing him, like, hobble and be like, Robin, stop. And he's, like, hobbling up. I was like, oh, Batman, you're not a Dark Avenger anymore. You're just like that guy that you're like, oh, bless you, but go back to bed. You know, like, stop trying to do stuff. Just put down...
No, I'll do the dishes, I swear.
Yeah.
No, don't bother. We'll do the dishes. Get back in bed. I need some sort of use or I cease to function.
When this series was renamed The Adventures of Batman and Robin, the opening title sequence used a majority of the clips from these episodes, which I definitely recognize.
Like Robin going over the bridge and stuff.
Yes, yeah. Chi-Chi was modelled after actress Betty Page, apparently. That's who that character
I love Betty Page, so that's why I find that cartoon fit.
The carousel music at the same tune used at the carnival in Baby Doll and played by the Joker's balloon in the Superman the Animated Series World's Finest movie. The music played in the diner where Dick and Chi-Chi eat is the same as the Stacked Deck Club in Almost Got 'Em. Did you hear that jazz theme in the diner? Oh, it comes back in Almost Got 'Em as like that recognizable theme instantly, and I was like,
I don't watch. I've only seen the show a handful of times. Some episodes multiple times. I don't watch it every day, all day like you do. So I'm not going to be like, hey, did you hear that bit of music that was also in this bit? Like, come on, guy.
Yeah, fair
what is this, the Saw theme? Like, that's huge level.
Joey Simran is credited as Dick Grayson, aged 10 in part 1, but as Dick Grayson, aged 9 in part 2, muddying the waters
must
further.
Have a birthday.
Well, no, but that means backwards. Because he was 10 in part 1 and then credited as age 9 in part 2.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
No. So he obviously aged backwards in between part 1 and part 2. He's
Benjamin Button in it.
Yeah, and to make matters even worse, or making it more confusing, Alan Burnett has said that Dick was 8 in this episode. So you're like, which is it, man?
Weed manna, bro. We were all stoned as hell.
Speaking of Alan Burnett, we've had an email from him, which includes his memories of making this episode.
Oh, nice.
You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
So Alan said, I consider it a stellar episode, especially the first half, which dealt with Dick Grayson's parents' death, which, as you say, had not really been told before outside the comics, and I was pleased that it won the Primetime Emmy. But the real reason why it won was because The Simpsons took itself out of the animated category that year, insisting that it was a sitcom first and not a cartoon. I do believe we even thanked The Simpsons for doing that at the ceremony, and not jokingly either. Really, we were super grateful. They had been an Emmy juggernaut for years and continued to be when they went back to the animated category after that year. He continues on and says the show was directed by Dick Sabast, a talented, soft-spoken fellow who I rarely saw during the entire production because he somehow had a deal to work out of his home in Lake Arrowhead, and who could blame him for that? Absolutely. I'm not sure he even bothered to come to the Emmys. That's interesting.
I want to move to a lake. I want to live next to a lake.
And work just on comics?
And just have like my office overlooking a lake. I'm going to move to the Lake District.
I can see you like very Tony Soprano as well, like sitting on a deck chair, smoking a cigar, looking at the peaceful lake.
That's my vibe, man. That's what I want.
And then Alan continues and says, I really like the look of the show. The colors are very rich, and it really does have the feel of being painted on black velvet. I worked out the story with Randy, who is one of the most energetic and conscientious writers I've ever worked with. As you undoubtedly know, he has a big musical background as a performer and composer, and was really an amazing asset to Animaniacs with his songs. When I say energetic, I'm not kidding. While other people were twiddling their thumbs during COVID, Randy wrote a musical which is currently being mounted in London, which is true to a degree, because then I reached out to Randy and I was like, dude, are you having a musical in London? And was asking him about this episode as well. And he's been on our show, so like he filled us in on a lot of Robin's Reckoning's facts. So I kind of don't want to repeat myself there. But he is talking with producers in London to get the musical launched here, which is interesting. And then finally, to finish this email from Alan Burnett, which was so lovely of him, he said, it's an episode of big emotions, and part of my concern was to keep the theatrics reined in enough to keep him from spilling into a hokey melodrama. And of course, we had Andrea Romano, our voice director, to help keep it real. And those are my main memories. Hope they help. When this podcast gets airs, please let me know. Signed, Alan Burnett. P.S. And thanks for the compliment on the Batman New Adventures book, which, or the adventures continue, should I say, because I've just finished their third season, as it is, by Paul Dini and Alan Burnett. Yeah, so that was really nice of him to write in and give all those facts and his memories. I thought that was really cool.
Absolutely.
So, much better than finding it online and wondering if it's true or not. All right, let's get into the review of this episode. What did you think about this episode, part 2 of Robin's Reckoning?
I thought it was very good. I very much liked it. I thought it was a solid episode. I love gangsters, you know, and I like Tony Zucchini, and I like, he's a good villain. I like how round his eyes are and like how paranoid he is. And...
See, I didn't like the round eyes. Like, I thought that was the animation difference that I noticed compared to part 1, where like, I don't know, he looked a little out of place for me with those like really round eyes that it was always like, I'm like, he always looked like he was straining.
I thought that it looks straight out of like The Dark Knight Returns. Like it's very Frank Miller, like Sin City as well, those round eyes. Capullo does a lot of that as well, as do I. So I very much like the round eye look.
Okay.
And I like that in the end Batman's reason for not wanting Robin to come along is because he didn't want to lose him too, because apparently Tony Zucchini is someone that, like, hard to fuck with, right? Like, even Batman got injured fighting Tony Zucchini, so...
Yeah, Batman was not on his A game in this episode either. No. Like, just walking around the roof, I'm surprised he, like, didn't drop a batarang, like, and you just hear it, like, drop down all the roof tiles, and he's like, no! Because...
What was that? It was a rat! I think the rat just said it was a rat. Yep. Nibble on some cheese.
Yeah, he just fired up into the roof, and I guess, yeah, he lucked out there because he got Batman and injured him. But he fired for like a straight, like, I counted, it was like 30 seconds, man.
Yeah, but that's great, though, because when he goes to shoot Batman, his magazine's empty, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
and I feel like Batman knew it was empty, and that's why he like didn't dodge it or anything. I think he counted those bullets, and that's why I love. It is kind of cool though that Batman, like even though Batman biffed it, right? he still chucked a smoke grenade and just casually fucking like walks through them
he
out the
did.
door while everyone's inside like, oh my god, like, and he's just like, oh, you fucking idiots.
I did think it was funny when he was just like hobbling through, like, okay, that's the end of my night. I'm going home. Like, I've had too much fun. Game's over now.
Did Tony Zucco? Did Robin give away who he was at the end, or no? Right?
I thought that too, because I mean, Tony Zucco is a pretty stupid character, so maybe he's too dumb to realize. But if there was a circus boy that suddenly like goes to live with Bruce Wayne, and then you've got Batman has a new sidekick, however many years later.
That's the point I'm trying to make. I feel like Tony Zucchini could be like, oh, I know who Batman is.
Yeah, and when Robin goes, I've been waiting a long time for this, Zuko. I was like, you are really giving it away, dude. That like this is
I think
personal.
he was going to kill him, right?
Yeah, he was definitely going to kill him.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted him to as well. When he flew into that scene,
victory, right?
Yeah, when he grabbed Zuko on the motorcycle and was dragging him across the dock, I was like, that's pretty dope, man. Like, that's dark.
This is why The Punisher is like my favorite hero in the world. I love Batman. Don't get me wrong. It's my favorite DC universe. It's my favorite superhero universe of all time. But I fucking love a guy that just fucking kills people. You know what I'm saying? Like
you sure
John
you don't want to
Wick,
be?
like...
Are you sure you're not a Zack Snyder fan then? After Batman wanting to kill people?
No, because I'm not saying Batman should be doing it.
Yeah,
I get where Batman's coming from, but like for instance, I just watched that Sicario movie for the first time. It was fine, but the best bit of it was when someone gets like pure revenge in it and fucking murders people, and I was like, murder!
Yeah, I thought Robin was also giving his like best Batman voice when he was like, I've been waiting a long time for the Zuko, and I was like, you just can't get there, mate. You just don't have the.
I think he had a bit of intimidation there, and I also like how he's like, well, I've been trained by the fucking best, so I'm gonna fucking take you down, and that's why he kind of went full Batman, didn't he? And I like that.
He did, yeah, I did like that too. So I really liked the effect at the start of Robin watching the Batmobile dot on his tracking device, and then the shot transitions to the same bird's eye view, but it's the Batmobile on the street. I liked how the dot changed into the Batmobile. I thought it was a cool transition. And it was nice to see Bruce actually having fun whilst fencing with Robin in the flashback. Like, you know, he was almost like childlike, where he's like, oh, this is like new to me, but he was enjoying it. And they both look like kids being caught doing something that they shouldn't be doing by Alfred as well when Alfred walks in, because they were like, well, like this.
They look exactly what they should do. It's not a father and son relationship, it's a brother relationship.
Yes.
What they were doing there was having a little play around like brothers, as you and I would do back in the day. So I like that a whole bunch.
Yeah, me too. And Bruce is rocking his grey polo when meeting with Gordon. Redheaded Gordon again shows up in this episode as well. And I thought that must be one of the first instances that Bruce starts to trust Gordon, right? Because it was so early on in his Batman career. And he's got Gordon in Wayne Manor, you know, in that office. And I liked that a lot. I thought that was really well shot. I thought that was a cool scene to add.
Well, it's lovely to think that like the guy who comforted him when his parents died, as some law dictates, Commissioner Gordon, is the same guy that comforted Dick Grayson when his parents died. Like, I kind of like the full circleness of that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a soft spot for orphans, children. Yeah,
well, it's because he's a good guy.
He's a good guy. Dick is also rocking a cream-colored polo and a Peaky Blinders cap in most of this episode in the flashbacks.
Yes. A little cheeky chappy.
A flesh-colored turtle-necked Dick. I've got written down here.
Honey, he's 10, 9, or 8, okay?
That's true. He's one of those ages. Then when little Dick is showing the picture of Zuko around town, there's that one guy at the newspaper stand.
It's just a picture of a zucchini that has Tony written on it. I've seen that guy.
Did you see how fat the newspaper guy was, though? He was just a ball with legs, and I was like, oh, wow, that is quite a comparison.
Don't fat shame the newspaper guy. Probably how you would look from that point of view as well.
Watching him next to little Dick, I was like, that is a big fat guy, like fat. And then it cuts to the next scene is Fat Paulie's pool hall, and I was like, was that Fat Paulie? Like, does he have a day job at the newspaper
I used to
stand?
work the papers as a kid, and I sometimes do it on the weekends just because I like it.
The Batwing interrupts the music, which was cool, and I do like that music.
I loved this scene.
Yeah, you like this?
Seeing the criminal's point of view of them scattering like fucking rats and turning their
Yeah.
lights off because they can hear the fucking TIE fighter noise of the bat plane going over and the spotlight. I was almost like, I was afraid as well. I was like, this is like fucking Nazi Germany right now. Like, this is
I
crazy.
thought that too. I was
Yeah.
like, this is a bit Nazi-like in the sense of like hide, otherwise whatever's coming is much worse than you
Even
could ever
Robin's like,
imagine.
I should hide.
Yeah, which is a cool effect that Batman has on the criminals, as you said. But I did think that the music before that scene with Robin walking around is really good. Like, part one has good music, but this one, the I love
very
that.
Hitchcocky type stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And then it's just cut off by the Batwing, and then you get this little like as the Batwing flies off, which I thought was really clever. But imagine being in like an average citizen in Gotham, trying to unwind after a long day, and then suddenly a giant spotlight is shining through your window, and like it's drowning out the sound of your TV. Like this giant plane is just cruising through the streets. You're like, shut the fuck up!
You're just fucking as well. You just on the nose thing, like, nice.
Don't mind me.
Put a finger up there. All right, fine. I'm kind of into this.
I'm going to shine the light so you can see what you're doing. Here you go.
Stick it in a superstitious, cowardly lot. All right, Batman, if you say so. I'm a dom.
Batman's just like eating snacks. He's like, this is great. This is why I come out tonight.
This is why I come to this thing. That's why we're always scattered. Like, he makes us do weird shit, man. He made me stick a finger in a superstitious, cowardly lot. I wasn't into it. Is that a 10-year-old boy? Oh, this is the wrong alley for you, bud. And I know all about wrong alleys for children. Trust me.
Get that little dick out of here. Then we cut to the diner where we meet Birdie, the waitress, and I thought she was quite the character. I thought she was built like the Thing from Fantastic Four and kind of spoke like him as well. What do you think of Birdie?
Yeah, I don't really remember much besides her being the one that knows where Tony Zucchini is.
Yeah, she's like, oh, she's not deadbeat. Yeah. But she, I mean, honestly, there's no neck. She's just walking around. Her and Fat Paulie would have a great relationship. Or the newspaper guy that is maybe
they do.
Maybe they do. Maybe that's how they make a living in Gotham. Yeah,
or maybe
they're a
that
lovely
was
couple.
Batman dressed up as both those people because he loves to do that.
Then we got my love that Batman moment is when Zucco grabs Little Dick. I can't stop.
You don't have to say Little Dick. You can just say Robin.
Young Dick.
You can't say Young Dick.
Well, it's the flashback, so he's not Robin.
You can say
yet.
Richard.
Little Richard. That's...
Oh.
Tony Zucco, get off of me.
Tony Zucchini.
When Zucco grabs Little Richard and Batman is in the shadows, and he comes out of the shadows and says,
I'm a huge fan.
I do like when he says the only place you're going is up the river, you scum. I like when Batman calls someone scum, you know, like it's so personal when he says that. Yeah. You scum.
And for me, that's my Batman moment there. I think him in the shadows coming out, he looks awesome.
Yes.
And then when he like opens his cape and it's the black bat signal, it's awesome.
Yeah, and you see the blue underneath, and also as we said last time, the utility belt has all the pouches and pockets, which I really like the look of as well. Mm-hmm. What I didn't think looked cool though was the Batwing's grey cockpit. It looked like Batman ran out of black Lego bricks that day and like had to use grey ones. Did you see the like makeshift cockpit? I know it's supposed to be like, oh, this is early days, so he hadn't completed the Batwing, I guess. But
what's wrong with grey?
Well, it just looked out of place. Like, I'm so used to the sleek look of the Batwing just having, like, the glass cockpit, but it had this, like, grey colour. I don't know, it was weird. And it had blue seats as well. I was like,
those are all the colours of Batman.
I guess so, yeah. He's going for a colour scheme, see if it works. But he does change it.
Pure yellow because of the belt. That was Alfred's idea. So that was the last time he was allowed to have an idea.
And then we get... Dick being brought back to the Batcave. What did you think about Little Richard being brought back to see the Batcave and reveal Bruce's identity as Batman?
Seal the Bat, huh? Is that Little Richard?
That's Michael Jackson. Yeah, what did you think about that scene?
Yeah, it was fine. It was good.
I liked that. I liked Bruce like taking off his mask and you seeing him. Like, I think that's one of the first times we see Bruce in the bat suit without his mask on in the Batcave. Like, I know that was a thing of the show that they tried to avoid doing a lot.
Alfred's line is a bit ominous, though, and he's just like, looks like you're here permanently now, because we can't let you leave here alive if you're going to spill this beans. Our Little Richard, a huge fan, by the way. Signed this for me. Thank you.
We're just going to put you in these handcuffs. That's all right. Don't worry. I'm just going to keep you down here now. This is where you live.
I'm on a shock collar myself. You'll get used to it. And the sound of the dead cats, just forget about them.
What does the sound of dead cats make? So Zucco is hiding out next to an abandoned amusement park, which is the setting for the finale of this episode as well. And it looked a lot like the same park that the Joker used in the Be a Clown episode. I was like, that has to be the same one, because it had the same sort of roller coaster and everything.
Ooh.
So that's the second time Batman's been there and like fought a criminal. And I was also thinking, is that the one that like Wormwood shut down when he used one of his death traps? And it was just like, I'll just leave that there.
Why not reuse it? Because I bet they're all like, he wouldn't think that someone's hiding out here again, would he?
No way we'd do this again, right?
Batman always skips over like, no one ever hides out there, Robin. Trust me. It's like every villain that's escaped from Arkham is just like hiding and looking.
Yeah, Zucco runs into the Joker, hiding. He's like, no, this is my hiding spot.
Oh, shit. Joker's hiding behind the wall.
I'm not ready to do my plan yet. Leave me alone.
I love the idea of all the villains like hiding out in the same place, being like, you get captured. No, not let them know we're here.
It's the best game of hide and seek they've ever played. So Zucco fires his machine gun at the roof for like a solid minute, as we said, and Batman falls through. And Zucco says, "Mother!" and then like gets cut off. And I was thinking he was going to say motherfucker, wasn't he?
Mm.
He was definitely going to be like, motherfucker, it's the Bat! Like, that's exactly
what he's
going to say.
Motherfucking Batman. Damn right, bitch.
Imagine if he did say that. We're like, well, this cartoon has stepped it up.
Well, Batman said, damn right, bitch.
And Zucco said, damn motherfucker.
Right, I'm taking your ass to Arkham. I'm not crazy. I'm taking your ass to Stonegate.
That's an appropriate place for me to go.
So with your big buggy eyes right now, you're looking a bit Arkham-y, Tony Zucchini. I'm not gonna lie. Zucchini? It's Tony Zapatos, I'll have you know.
Motherfucker.
It's Tony Zapateria. That's his Spanish alias. Zapateria, that's it's a shoe store, isn't it? Or a library? Which one? No. Maybe the Detective is a library. What did I say?
Zapateria?
That's a shoe store.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Why is Tony Zucco
Spanish?
Why is Tony Zucco named after a shoe store? There's no relation to him and shoes.
Zuccos, that type of shoes. Gucci, Zuccos.
Not even clothes.
No, I was naming brands.
Yeah, okay, but Zucco and Gucci, where do those two come into play?
They're available at the Zapateria.
This is the dumbest story you've ever come up with. I'm probably going to cut it, but I almost want to keep it in because it's so bad. So Zapateria Zucco tells Batman he's sending him straight to a bat box, and I was like, are you trying to stay on brand for Batman there? Like naming everything bat something in order for him to understand? Like, can you imagine if Batman didn't understand what you were saying unless you put bat in front of the words?
What, everyone?
Yeah, well, like, no, but like a specific subject. Like Alfred says, "Sir, I made your bed for you." What's a bed, Alfred? I've made your bat bed for you, sir.
Oh,
Why didn't you just say so?
And I assume that comes with bat bed sheets and bat pillows. Yes, sir. Bat bed sheets. And I will be reading you a bat bedtime story. Oh, good, yes. And then you must have your bat bath. I don't want to have my bat bath.
Sir?
You've been fighting crime all night. You need your bat bath. Why don't you go fuck yourself, sir?
And sir, what bathing suit would you like in your bath? What's a hing, Alfred? Get it? Bat bathing? That's in the word? Hey! I thought you were English, Alfred. Start speaking it. No. Come on, that was good. Bat's in the word. No? Make a noise, please.
I think you've gone batty.
What's a T?
You're very fucking annoying, sir. Did you get that?
Put a bat in front of it, Alfred.
Bat, go fuck yourself. That's
Fine.
Bat fine. Bat I will.
Have a bat day. Now, you saying have a bad day or have a bat day?
Have a bad day. I love you. I'm bad.
I thought it was clever also the use of sitting duck when Batman was hiding out in the shooting gallery. Obviously, like, he is a sitting duck in a shooting gallery at that point. I was like, that's a fun little play on words. And Robin does the most ridiculous stunt when he jumps over the bridge. He goes at like 90 degrees up that thing. Like, I was waiting for like Tony Hawk, you know, in Tony Hawk when it's like,
here I am doing everything I can. Tony Zucco is the man that killed my family brand.
Bam, bam, like they're getting points after point. He's listening to that music in his helmet. He's just like, oh yeah, this is Tony Hawk Skater number 2. This is dope.
And it's so unfair that Batman left me in his lair. So I gotta go and find him by myself. Alfred on drums.
Oh, sick trick, sir. Times 3.
I believe you just did the 900, Robin. Shut up, old guy. Remember the 90s, everyone was like, ew, you're old. Like, old kids are like, shut up, old guy.
Now shut up.
Being old is lame.
Now we're the old guys.
Yep.
Okay, boomer.
So here I am. I pull my back all the time. I've gained weight in my mind.
Well, not just in your mind.
Only in my mind.
Fat Paulie over here, am I right?
Poor Fat Paulie. He's just Paulie, everybody.
Well, he named the pool hall Fat Paulie, so...
It was probably because he wanted to call it Paulie's Pool Hall, and they were like, I'm not going to Paulie's Pool Hall. I'm going to Fat Paulie's Pool Hall. He was like, the brand recognition is worth the money. Yes.
Imagine if there's another Paulie, though. That's why he's just like, well, I can't call
Skinny
it Paulie
Paulie.
because... Yeah, yeah, exactly. Skinny Paulie.
Paulie's Pool House. Is that Fat Paulie or Skinny Paulie? Or in between Paulie?
Short Paulie? Tall Paulie?
It's once fat, then lost weight, now twice as fat Paulie. Ah, gotcha.
That guy.
Super Fat Paulies. Gotcha.
So what did you think of Batman taking out guys on the merry-go-round and that whole scene?
It felt a little bit like Strangers on a Train, which is fun.
Oh, I've not seen that. So do you think that was an ode?
Well, not really. I mean, Strangers on a Train, the merry-go-round, like, is like off the rails spinning. But
right,
it still had the vibe. It also reminded me a bit of is it in the Punisher movie with the merry-go-round? It's in one of the Punisher movies. With the
Oh yeah,
merry-go-round,
no, it's in the show with
Oh, is it in the show?
Face? Yeah, yeah.
It
He has
also
a
reminds
fight.
me of Face Off as well, like when his family's killed by the merry-go-round.
Oh yeah, which is how the Punisher's family is killed in the show. They're killed by the merry-go-round, and then at the end he fights
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw.
Smashes him up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he creates Jigsaw. Yeah, that's a very face-off feel to it. Yeah. Okay, so I thought Robin bursting through the sign in the Cycle and grabbing Zuko was really cool, dragging him across the dock. And
Dragon
then,
was cool. I don't know
yeah.
about you, but I'm having a ball.
Oh man, I've got to talk about that and what you put in your holes, because I just watched parts 1 and 2 and I liked I really love revisiting those. So Zuko goes face to face with Robin and Batman interrupts, and as you said, it was a really kind of heartwarming, or at least a great reason for Batman to keep Robin out of it. It was mainly to keep him safe because he was afraid of losing him. And I really do like Kevin Conroy's delivery of like, Zuko took so much from you, and I couldn't like bear to think about if he took you away from me as well. Like, I thought it was really good. And I do like when Robin goes like shut up, Batman, or whatever he says. Like, what do you know about this? Like, you don't understand.
You biffed that one, mate. You really biffed that one.
Yeah, you know exactly. He's like, that you know,
buddy, you know I know.
Yeah, imagine if Joe Chill shows up and Batman's just like, fuck the rules, kill that guy.
Bang. Just, you using this, Tony? Thank you.
Yeah. Then
turn
he's
that
just
motherfucker into Swiss cheese.
Don't kill Zuko though. That's bad. I can do what I want, but you can't.
Yeah,
you're still a
this
kid.
Guy up.
So yeah, when Zuko gets locked up as well, I forgot about the paddy wagons in this show. Like, they're just like giant metal cubes almost, and I love the way the door opens. It's almost like a big mouth or a claw, the way that it opens and closes. And I haven't seen those in a while.
I drew a couple of them at the end of my Batman story with Killer Croc, the paddy wagon type stuff.
Yeah, they're a really cool design, so I like seeing those again. And Gordon must have had a really stressful 9 years, because he had a full head of red hair, like, and then 9 years later he's just like straight up white. I was like, what happened in those 9 years, dude? Like,
it's like super rare for ginger hair to go like pure white like that, so motherfucker must be stressed.
Yeah, I mean, I know being the commissioner of Gotham probably is stressful, but like, that stressful? God damn. Surprised he didn't go bald as well. Can you imagine? He's just a bald guy where we cut to him 9 years later. He's like, fuck.
I used to be fit as hell.
And then the sun rises as Batman and Robin walk away together, and
the sun rises.
That is well, we got the guy. What's his name? The Baron from the last episode, Cape and Cal.
There you go. You titled him. The sun is rising.
And that is the end of the episode. So as always, when we review these episodes, does it make your top 3?
No, but I would put it in my top 10 so far.
Interesting. I would put part 1 definitely in the sort of top 10 area, but I'm not sure. Like, I just felt like there was stuff missing in this. Like, part 1 was so strong, and I felt like part 2 just wasn't as strong as a follow-up. But yeah, it doesn't make my top 3 either. What would you give this episode out of 10?
7 out of 10.
I was going to say a 7 as well, but I liked it a little less than you do, so I'm going to drop it down to...
Then I'll go higher then, 7.5 out of 10.
Okay, I'm going to give it a 6.75 out of 10.
Why? No. All right, but it's a 7 out of 10 then.
7 out of 10. I just wanted to get there. An average of 7 out of 10. All right. So the next episode, I think, is going to be probably in our top 3, if it's as good as I remember, at least. Right now, our top 3 are, in no particular order, Two-Face Part 1, Perchance to Dream, and Joker's Favor. So 3 very strong episodes. But the next episode that we're reviewing, Bud, is The Laughing Fish.
Holy smokes.
Yes.
I haven't seen it in so long.
It is, when we started this podcast, it was the first episode that came to my mind when I thought about my top favorite episodes. It's still up there. I've actually recently read the comics this episode is based off of, enjoyed them, but there's something about this episode where I was like, it's so pitch perfect. And again, Paul Dini just knocking it out the park with Joker scenarios and dialogue. So I'm very much looking forward to getting to that next week.
Awesome. So am I.